What's up, guys? Justin here with the RenderingEssentials.com, back with another Twinmotion new feature video for you today. So I'm really excited to talk about this, and this is something that I didn't realize was out there until just recently, but Twinmotion has released their public roadmap for new features that they're working on inside of Twinmotion. And so what I wanted to do was kind of talk through where you could find that and also some of the interesting features that are contained on the list. So let's go ahead and just jump into it. All right, so what happened was on Twinmotion's Twitter feed, they put out a tweet, I think this was back on looks like it was May 8th, where they added a link to their public roadmap. And so their public roadmap is their website where they show what they are working on inside of Twinmotion. And not only that, but also you can add your own suggestions for things you'd like to see or vote for ones that are on the list. And so I will link to the tweet in the notes down below, but let's go ahead and follow this link. And what that's going to do is that's going to take us to their public roadmap. And so when you open this up, there's 3 different tabs that you can look at. So there's the under consideration, the in progress, and the released. And so released is obviously the stuff that they've already included in new versions of Twinmotion. They note that this is the newest version and you'll have all of these things if you download that. So things that we saw in the newest version, like the enhanced emissive materials and the ages of vegetation growth, things like that show up in here. And then if you look over on the left-hand side, or in the middle, you can see the stuff that's in progress. So this is the stuff they're already working on. It's stuff that they're working on getting incorporated into Twinmotion. And so if you look right here, they're really trying to open this up so that you have a direct link to other programs. These are things they are currently working on in development. But the one that is really interesting for me is the import Twinmotion projects in Unreal Engine. And so for all of these, if you click on them, you get a little bit of a description of how this would work. For example, they talk through what the workflow might look like in order to import your Twinmotion file into Unreal Engine. Notice that this is not currently complete. This is something that is in progress. But if you look at this, you can see how they talk about exactly how this would work. But then at the bottom of each one of these, you can actually vote on how important this is to you. So for me, for example, this is one of the most important ones they could do because it's so hard to set up a new Unreal Engine file. Well, you can click in here and you can type in critical, and then you can give a description as to exactly why, as well as your email address, and then you can submit this. So you can vote on the ones that are in here that you think are the most important. And I don't know how much weight they're giving those votes, but you can see how they will at least add the number of votes to their prioritization of the things that they're working on. And so as you scroll down, you can see how there's a lot of different material and effect work that's going on. And then as you scroll down, this is the one I get asked about all the time. You can see how they're working on a rotator and a translator. So the rotator or the translator is something that would allow you to move things like doors or other things like that. So I get asked the question all the time, how can you open doors and animate opening doors in Twinmotion? You currently can't, but you can see how they're working on a tool for this. So if that's something that's important to you, go down and type in, or click on critical and type in why you think that's important. So you can see how these are the current things that they're working on. So there's some different phasing things, which would allow you to do some like construction animation type things, which I think would be really valuable. You can see how there's different steps for different phases in here as well. So they're working on some asset stuff. So the biggest one for me that I'm seeing on the in progress list is import Twinmotion in Unreal Engine. I would really love to see that so we can start working in Unreal Engine a little bit more without having to go through the complicated setup process. But then if you look on the left hand side, there's also a number of other under consideration ideas. So these are ideas that they are looking at and considering adding to Twinmotion. So for example, one that I get asked about all the time is animated FBX files. I would love to be able to import animated FBX files in here. So I could come in here and I could click on important or critical. So some of these others, at least for me, you know, V-Ray materials support, that one is more of a nice to have for me, but if you do a lot with V-Ray, you could click in here and you could vote for that as well. But as we scroll down, there's a lot of other things that have been submitted that are under consideration. So things like parallax maps, render passes, and then as you scroll down, there's a whole list of things that are under consideration for their different assets in the library. So you can see how there's a number of different ones in here. One I really like is creation of biomes. So I really like the idea of having something kind of like a Megascans has, where things get broken up into different biomes so you could get similar vegetation. So that's a really interesting idea to me. I really like that one. And then down here there's some tools that I would really love to see, like the fencing and hedge tool. I would really like to see that in Twinmotion. That could be really great. The spacing tool is another that I think would really take Twinmotion to the next level. So things like that for me are really important. For other people, maybe not so much. But again, you can vote on all of these different things. So go through, take a look at these. The other thing is, if you have an idea for a new feature that you'd like to see in Twinmotion, you can click on this button on the upper right hand corner for Submit Idea. And you can submit your own idea in here. Now that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to show up on this list, but it will go to the development team and they can look at it and decide if it's something that they want to add or not. So I will link to this board in the notes down below, but I would also love to hear from you guys in the comments, things like what on this list you're most excited about, what you'd like to see in Twinmotion, and just how you feel about them making their product roadmap available in general. So I would love to have that conversation with you guys. If you like this video, please remember to click that like button down below. If you're new around here, remember to click that subscribe button for new rendering content every week. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you in the next video. Thanks, guys.